Hey guys, Eric here at Fork Gaming, and sorry it's been a little while since we've gotten any content out on the channel. I know it's probably been about a month or a month and a half. We were busy prepping for and then going to Adepticon. So we'll talk a little bit more about that when I have the other guys with me. But Adepticon was a lot of fun. We got to meet a lot of really cool people. It was nice to see and meet people like Steve Hildrew from Death by Dragons. Steve's an awesome guy, and his Riftforge orcs are absolutely beautiful. It was also really cool to see just a bunch of other players, and obviously the people that we haven't seen in a while. But it was nice to go there and see everything at Adepticon. If you guys have never been to Adepticon, I would definitely check it out. It is a lot of fun. And, you know, not as big of a turnout this year in regards to the Kings of War tournament, but it was a lot of fun. And we all really enjoyed our time there, and it was great. But again, unfortunately, we were practicing and play testing and trying to get armies ready. And Juicy actually did. He got his army done in about a month. He got his entire army painted, based, everything else. So, you know, good on him for doing that. That's definitely no easy task. That's not really the purpose of this video. Obviously, I wanted to give you guys an update. Sorry, we haven't dropped off the face of the earth. It's just we have been really busy with Adepticon and Adepticon-related stuff, so that's why we haven't put any battle reports or anything else out. But what I'm going to go over today, I've been promising it for a while now, and I know I've had a couple more people ask about the Undead. So we're going to go over and talk about the Undead. I'm going to showcase my Undead army, so, you know, we're going to dive into that, and you guys will see. I think I have right around 5,000 points of Undead. And I know there are some people out there that are going, oh my god, that's a lot. And there are other people that are going, that's it? That's all you got? There are a lot of people out there that I know that have way more than I do. But I have 5,000 points that are painted, based, and ready to be played in a battle report or at a tournament, you know, whatever comes up. I wanted to show you guys the Undead army and kind of go over, you know, what's there, what we have, so that way you guys can give us better suggestions later on for what you guys would like to see on the channel. If you guys would like to see certain list builds based off of the models that I have, let me know. But without that, let's go into the Undead. All right, so looking at the Undead, I think the biggest thing about the Undead is that they're very, very, very versatile. The Undead are one of my favorite armies because you can do almost any type of build with the Undead. And what I mean by that is if you wanted to do an alpha strike, just kind of, you know, hit first, hit hard, and go from there, you can definitely do that. The thing about the Undead is that they are versatile in so many different ways. You can do easily do an alpha strike list. You can do a trash list, which I am actually enjoying running right now. You can do a hero heavy list and kind of do like an old hero hammer type list. The vampires that are in there, Elona, all kinds of stuff. You can definitely do that. You know, there's obviously more viability with certain lists depending on what kind of build you're going for. You know, the thing about the more hero hammer focused list is obviously if you're playing in a tournament, you're trying to catch objectives. That's going to be difficult because, you know, you're not going to have as many units that are scoring units or units with unit strength. So, you know, be forewarned about that kind of list build. But as you guys are seeing here, you know, my mainstay with this list has changed a couple of different times. When I played the Undead in 2nd edition, I enjoyed the more alpha strikey, hard-hitting, quick units, and then on the flanks, and then I used a slower units like mummies, revenants in the middle to kind of hold people down and try and grind while I came around the sides and tried to hit fast. You know, it worked with varying success. I think in 3rd edition, I'm enjoying a lot more of the trash style list where I put a lot of hordes out there and just make people have to chew through all of the hordes that are out there. That is very, very difficult, especially as you guys can see. I've got, you know, 2 hordes of skeleton warriors. I have a horde of skeleton spearmen, and I've got a horde of revenants. So right there, that's 4 hordes of just skeletons, right? And the thing about skeletons is that they're cheap. You know, skeleton warrior hordes are only 140 points. And again, guys, just so you know, I'm going off of just my basic rule book. I haven't really gone over a lot of the stuff out of Clash of Kings 2022. For the Undead, I was focused more on the Elves because that's what I took to Adepticon. So if I'm off on something, please forgive me. I'll try and correct it if I catch it before the video comes out. If not, just put it down in the comments below that I forgot something, please. But, you know, the nice thing about Skeleton Warriors is now you can give them two-handed weapons, so you can give them Crush 1. It does lower their defense to 3 instead of 4, but come on, they're skeletons. Who cares if they're defense 3 or defense 4? You still make people have to roll, right? They still have to roll hits, they still have to roll to wound, and whether they're defense 4 or defense 3, they're still Fearless 22, which is a lot of nerve for something that is pretty much just a chaffy horde unit, if that's, you know, something that could be said. The Revenants I actually like a little bit more. They have a little more staying power. They are defense 5 and they are Fearless 24. I love the Revenants. I love putting the Undead Giant Rats and Dogs on them, and then Han's Sanguinary Scripture, as was mentioned in one of our top 5 videos, giving them Life Leech 3. You have to remember the Revenants, at least my Revenants, the way that I've always ran them, they do not hit and wound very well. I don't know why. It's just the way they are. They will stay, and they will stay, and they will stay, but they will not kill stuff effectively. What they will do, though, is they'll stay around for a while, and if you're getting Life Leech 3, most likely hitting on 4s, and then you usually average wounding on 4s or 5s, because unless I Bane Chant them, most units in the game are 4s or 5s. You're going to stay around, you're going to do at least 3 wounds, which means you're going to get at least 3 wounds back. On a Fearless unit with Defense 5 and 24 Nerve, they're going to be around for a while. So I love using the Revenants as just a big roadblock. I like putting them right in the middle of the board and shoving them down people's throats. And if people don't respect them for what they are, they can do damage if they are Bane Chanted or if you get a flank. Although I did get a trip charge one time in a tournament. It was against, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting his name now. He does the Kings of War Worldwide podcast. And I rear charged him, so I had 75 attacks, and I think I only did like 5 wounds. Very depressing. Yeah, that was rough. So Revenants, being Revenants, I pretty much use them as a roadblock. I like to have them there just to hold down the center of my battle line. They are not going to go anywhere unless they get, flanked or rear charged or anything else, like most units, right? But for a unit that, has pretty good versatility, they're only 205 points. You put that war gear on them, I think it does make them 225, I believe. So, it kind of depends on what you want to do, if you have the extra points or not. You'll also see that I have some ghouls there. I have 2 hordes of ghouls. I absolutely love ghouls. When we very first started playing 2nd edition, I really wanted to use ghouls a lot, and they just weren't very viable, at least in my earlier lists. In 3rd edition, though, with the fact that they are D3 wild charge D3, speed 6, not shambling, that makes them pretty fast, and they pretty much are like a berserker unit for the Undead, right? And the nice thing about them too, though, is that if you include a ghoul ghast, you can get that aura thunderous charge on them. So if you're charging with them, you could possibly get Thunderous 1, which is really nice. They have 30 attacks, they hit on 4s, and now you add a little bit of Thunderous to them. You can make that unit pretty nasty. The thing I enjoy about them too is that they're only 180 points for a horde. So, that they're definitely something that's going to stay around. And then it brings me to my pride and joy, the units that I absolutely love. I just wish that I had more models, which I never thought I would say, zombies. I absolutely love zombies. I know what you're thinking. Are you kidding me? They're defense 2, and they hit on 5s. That's it. Absolutely right. And that is absolutely true. But for a Legion, Fearless 28, 170 points. Yeah, I like zombies. Because I don't care. I don't care if you're hitting me with your Alpha Strike unit. I don't care. It takes a lot, probably a double charge or a flank, to take a unit with Fearless 28 off in 1 turn of combat. Now, yes, they can die. They can definitely die. I used to, in Warhammer Fantasy, I used to do the zombie bus, and so I'd be resurrecting zombies as they were killing them, and it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that. Can't quite do the same thing with the current Mantic Kings of War type zombies, but even back before when I was playing Fantasy, before they blew up the old world, I actually was buying Mantic zombies. Those were the first, my introduction into Mantic was buying their zombies, because I could get 50 or 60 zombies for 30 or 40 bucks. I mean, it was a really good deal. And if you ever looked at the Games Workshop zombies, you get a pack of 10 of them, I think. At the time, it was 10 zombies for, I don't know, $25, $30. And I could be off on my, we're talking over 10 years ago now, so it's been a little bit. But they were very expensive for 10 zombies. I think it was like 20 bucks. 20 bucks for 10. So you're talking $2 a model. Whereas, with the Mantic zombies, I mean, you're talking, what, $1 for 2 models or something like that? I mean, it was a very good price. And I absolutely loved the sculpts, too. I actually liked the sculpts of the Mantic zombies more than the Games Workshop zombies. To me, they looked like zombies. They captured that essence. And what was cool about those zombies, too, is that you can really use them in any game system. I never played Walking Dead, but you could have used them in Walking Dead even. You can use them in sci-fi. You can use them in fantasy. Those models are so... the way that they're sculpted so well that I think you can use them in many different games, regardless of what they are. And I absolutely love the zombies. I love their stat line, love their profile, and I love the fact that you can put them with a Gore Blight now, and the Gore Blight helps them do better, right? The Gore Blight, you can do the new formation. What is it? The shambling light, or I can't remember the exact name of it, but the formation with the Gore Blight where the Gore Blight, I think, gives them phalanx, the formation gives them phalanx, and I believe it's Iron Resolve. And then if they're within the 6 inches of the Gore Blight, I believe they get +1 to their route value, I believe. Could be off on that, guys. Again, I'm just going off of memory right now. But that makes them Fearless 29. And then with the Gore Blight, that's amazing. And then you couple that with the Necromancer, right, which Necromancers are cheap. Base Necromancer is only 50 points. You give them the 20-point upgrade that gives them Aura Vicious on the zombies for 20 points. Now you're looking at 70 points. Now your Gore Blights and your zombies can both have Vicious on them. I know it's a lot. I know it's, the synergy has to be there, and you have to have that Necromancer running with them. But that is a really nasty little combo, right? And then if you're able to have another person there with Bane Chant, now you're hitting on 5s. But now, you've got 30 attacks hitting on 5s, right? I mean, 30 with the Legion. And then you're going to do some wounds. The whole thing is, look, you're not going to knock somebody out of the park with zombies turn 1. The whole point is to stick and grind, and then you come around and you flank that unit with your Gore Blights or with your Whites or with your Wraiths, which, as you guys know, in my current list or my trash list, I like to run Wraiths, and as you guys can see, I have 2 troops of Wraiths as well that I love to run when I do like my trash stack list. Their defense 6 gives them a little bit of punch, gives them a little bit of holding power. I love them as well. So zombies are awesome. I love zombies, but remember, you do have to follow them up with something else. You can't run I shouldn't say that you can't run, because I would love to try and run all zombies. That'd be amazing, with a little bit of Bane Chant, some Gore Blights. Anyway, that's for another topic. But anyway, going back into what I have here on that you guys are seeing, I also have 2 regiments of mummies. I also have some Revenant Cav as well. I try and keep them in troops. I think that they are very good in troops. The regiment's not bad. Fearless 17, Defense 5. So the regiment, you can definitely keep them around for a while. I just prefer having 2 troops and being able to cause issues on 2 parts of the battlefield rather than just 1. I do also have 2 hordes of werewolves. I love werewolves. God, I love werewolves. I just, for whatever reason, they seem to die really quick for me unless I just bubble wrap the hell out of them. And then if I'm bubble wrapping them too much, then what am I doing for the middle of my battle line? So I think, they did get a points increase in 3rd edition, and 255 is expensive, but it is a really good unit. I was running them with Lycanus, which you guys will see also. And that's kind of a fun little battle group, but it is expensive, and you have to be very careful with werewolves. anybody that knows what they are is going to try and take them out because they can bring a lot of hurt and a lot of pain. So, which I guess will lead me into my unit that I do have, Soul Reaver Cav. I have a regiment of Soul Reaver Cav. I've broken them up into troops before. The thing about Soul Reaver Cav, though, is I don't know. To me, they are very vanilla. I'm not a huge fan of Soul Reaver Cav in this edition. Last edition, being Defense 6, I loved Soul Reaver Cav. But in this edition, to me, for what they are, they're so vanilla. I mean, they're just very basic. And I know they're getting 20 attacks on a regiment, and I'm sure a lot of people love that. I don't know. I always see them getting killed pretty quick. Tom and Juicy, they both make it a point to kill them rather quickly, and I usually don't ever get my points back on them. Moving into my trolls there, yes, they are trolls. They're not necessarily zombie trolls. They're just regular mantic trolls, but I keep them with my undead quite a bit. I can use them with other armies like my orcs and stuff like that. So I like having units that I can use in multiple armies, but I enjoy the heck out of the trolls. Anytime you have Crush 2, especially in an undead army, Crush 2 is super, super nice. Which brings me to probably the best hammer in the army list for undead, and that is the whites. I only have one horde of whites. I never got around to buying a second horde because they're kind of expensive, and I don't know really if you'd ever want to try and field 2 hordes of whites. I'm sure there are people out there that are like, oh yeah, auto include, and that's cool, but they're 260 points. Yes, they're shambling, and they are fun. They're definitely fun, but now you've got to support them with other things. You got to have a caster there. The synergy that you need for them is quite a bit, but they are a good unit. I do enjoy them a lot. There's also a Ghoul Gas there. Again, I like to run him with my ghouls, giving him the Thunderous. The Ghoul Gas is also a nasty little, individual, by himself. I mean, he hits on 3s. He's got 6 attacks, crushing 1, individual inspiring. He used to inspire only cannibals. Now he inspires everything because of that rule change, which is super nice. So now you got an extra little bit of inspiring. He's Life Leech 2 and Wild Charge D3, which is super nice. So I enjoy using him as either another individual hunter or just add a little bit of punch when I charge in with my ghouls if needed. And a unit that I haven't used really at all in 3rd edition that I'm kind of sad about is the Vampire on Undead Pegasus. He got a points reduction from 2nd to 3rd, which was nice. But he's Crush 2, he's flying, he's inspiring, he's Life Leech, he's nimble, but he's not an individual, so you can get the flanks. I used him a lot in Adepticon a couple years ago. Tried to keep those flanks and rears. Unfortunately, having only one flyer like that, people either ignored him, which was fine, or they keyed off on him and he was dead. So he's super nice. I like him. I think he could definitely work as like a harasser unit, or if you run him with werewolves, or you run him with another flyer or something like that. He's just nasty. Or if you make him a dedicated hero hunter, something like that. He's not, and at least for me, I don't feel you could design a list completely around the Undead Pegasus. As you guys can see, I also have a Lich King there. It's actually the Mortiberous model. That you give the Mantic points and you get Mortiberous. I love that model. Loved painting it. I love using that as either a Necromancer or a Lich King. I currently, how I figured out the points is him as a Lich King. You can't go wrong with Lich Kings. I mean, you just can't. Surge 10 automatically. They're inspiring. They fly. They're regen 5 up, which is nice. So when you have somebody who tries to take pot shots on your caster, you have the likelihood of regenning a lot of those wounds back if possible. I also have a couple Necros. Well, actually, I'm sorry. I only have one Necro in there. And that is one of my only non-Mantic models. And that is my Necromancer on an Undead Horse. I love that model, though. I bought that back when I played old school fantasy. And I just, for whatever reason, I love that model. It is so basic. It looks just like a Grim Reaper on the back of a horse, Undead Horse. I just love the way it was painted. It was just an awesome model, and I try and include it whenever I can. Even though it's not Mantic, I love that one. Also brings me to my other non-Mantic model, and that is my Revenant on Undead Great Burrowing Worm. I used to use that as a Paphos, back when a Paphos could be taken with the Undead, and he just held down the center, and he was nasty. And I love that model. To me, it reminds me of Tremors, and I think of the Graboids from Tremors. And I just absolutely loved painting that model. I based it, put it on, it looks like a mound, like just a big earth mound with, I threw in some random bits on the bottom there. One is like a chaos, I guess it would be abyss. One is like an abyss, demon head, and then like a brotherhood helmet, an old school chaos shield, just to kind of be like, haha, whatever, Games Workshop. So I, sprinkled some stuff around that model. I absolutely love that model. I'm not too crazy about the Revenant Undead Burrowing Worm anymore. Now they get a points reduction with Clash of Kings 2022. So I believe they're only 200 points now, which for that price, it's really not bad. They hit on 4s. They got 12 attacks, brutal. You get a flank with him, though. He's got Strider. That's pretty nasty. Obviously, I've got a Cursed Pharaoh. I've also got an Undead Army Standard Bearer because, of course you have to have those as well. You got to have support characters. The biggest thing, though, that I'm missing actually out of this, that you guys probably are like, oh, where's Lady Alona? I do have Lady Alona. Don't know where I put the model. So, yeah. Lady Alona is part of the army, though. I think that's the only model that I'm missing. But the biggest thing here, guys, with the Undead, obviously, like I said, I have almost 5,000 points. I absolutely love the Undead. I love running the Undead. I love playing against the Undead. Although I love mostly running Undead. Anything that you want to do with them, you pretty much can. Shambling is an amazing rule. And what shambling allows you to do, it limits your mobility in one sense because you can't move faster than your basic speed on your basic movement, right? Like most units, you can go at the double and you can move double your speed. Well, with the Undead, you can't do that. You can only go whatever your speed is. So if your speed's 5, that's all you can move is speed 5. But what it allows you to do, though, is then from there, you can still move your basic speed and then pivot, or pivot and then move, whichever. And what that allows you to do, though, is set up for a surge. And so what that is, because they're shambling, if you have a caster within 12 inches that has the surge ability, and you're within line of sight and all that stuff, you can surge that unit. And what that is, let's say your unit, well, the Lich King, for example, is surge 10. If you surge 10, it means you get 10 dice. You roll them. For every dice that you roll 4 or higher, that's a successful roll. And what that is you're now surging that unit that has shambling, that you just moved up 5, pivoted, or whatever it is. You're now moving that unit 1 inch for every successful cast that you did. So let's say you have surge 10, and let's say you rolled 5 dice of a 4 or better. That's 5 inches now on your surge move that you can move. Seems kind of interesting, or kind of like whatever. But now let's think of it this way. You have a flyer that jumps your line, right? Which flyers, not so much in 3rd, but in 2nd edition, they were a pain in the butt. Well, your unit, you could literally take your unit and turn that unit around, do a full change facing, and move around the other way. Now, can you move from that? No, if it's greater than 90 degrees, unless you're nimble. But you move that unit, face the flyer, and now you have your caster there. You can surge that unit. So let's say the flyer flew 3 inches away from your unit. You now turn your unit, pivot, face that flyer, and then use surge. And let's say you do surge 10 with a Lich King and you get 5 successes. Well, 5 inches, means that unit is going to end up hitting, right? With surge, you can actually close the 1 inch gap and you can actually make contact with the unit that you're surging. And what does that mean? It means it's a charge. So now you've just charged that unit that just tried to jump your line. So you can do a lot of crazy. And the other thing too is that depending on your angle of that surge, if that's in the flank or the rear, that's a rear or a flank charge. So there are a lot of really good shenanigans with surge, and it's one of the things that makes the Undead just absolutely, some would say broken. I would say it makes them very viable. Guys, I know I jammed a lot of stuff into a couple minute video here. Hopefully you guys like the Undead army that I have here. I would like to get them on the tabletop. I played them a lot in 2nd edition, so I'm a little, I like to try new things with them. If you guys have a certain list based off the models that you guys see there, if you guys have a certain list you'd like me to try, or if you'd like me to discuss certain Undead related tactics or anything like that, please feel free to reach out to me, leave it in the comments below, letting me know what you'd like to discuss about the Undead. I'm not as good of an Undead player as I probably should be, having played the Undead for over 10 years in obviously different game systems. I've played the Undead in 2nd and 3rd edition, so I've got a good grasp of them. I think I'm a solid Undead player, but I'm not. I've seen a lot of other people out there that play it way better than me. But if you guys have any questions, or if you guys want me to, again, play some games with the Undead, I think I'll probably try and bring them out a little bit more. Now that Adepticon's over, I've played my elves like crazy, especially at Adepticon, which we'll go over that later when I get to either do an Adepticon recap with Juicy or with Tom. We'll kind of talk about how Adepticon went. But if you guys watched the video until this, thank you guys. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Please give a thumbs up on the video, and also check out Death by Dragons. That is a really, really, really good channel on YouTube. Steve Hildrew, like I said earlier, we met him at Adepticon, and he's an awesome guy. He was funny. He met us, and when he saw us, all three of us were standing like we do in the videos. We were just standing there drinking beer. And he goes, "You guys are exactly the same in real life as you guys are in those videos, huh?" And we're like, "Pretty much, yeah. We want to drink beer and have a good time and hang out and play a game and enjoy it." So it was super funny. Steve is hilarious. I played several games where I was next to Steve, and he almost distracted me to the point where I was not paying attention to him because he was so funny. He's got a very dry English sense of humor, and I was laughing so freaking hard at some of the things he was saying that I was like losing track of my game. Not his fault, obviously, but it's super funny, dude. So huge shout out to him, and make sure you guys check out that channel, Death by Dragons. He does a weekly community update. I don't know if he's done one for a little bit just because with Adepticon. Adepticon obviously takes place in the U.S. It's in Schaumburg, Illinois. So he had to fly across the pond in order to do that. So he give him a little bit of time before he gets his stuff going on the channel there. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Again, if you have any questions about the Undead, please let me know. If you guys would want me to play that in a future battle report, let me know. Let me know if there's certain builds you would like me to do. More than happy to do that. It's easier for me to put stuff together and do a build so that you guys can see it and almost play test it through me rather than you guys going out and buying everything and seeing if it works, right? So let me know. I'll try and we're going to try and get some battle reports going here soon. A couple of us have some new armies that we're going to be bringing out. Tom recently bought a new army when we got from Adepticon. He won't tell us what it is, so we'll have to wait and see what army that is. And then I am working on another army as well. And Juicy is also working on another army. So we're hopefully going to be bringing 3 new armies to the channel within the next probably, I would say, 6 months or so. It takes a little bit of time now that we all have kids and stuff. So unfortunately, sitting down and painting things up, it takes a little bit longer than it used to. But anyway, guys, again, check out our other battle reports on the channel. We'll try and get one out here soon. Hopefully you guys like the video, and we'll see you guys next time.